Hey guys, Two Legit City here. Today in the game of Auction Not Included, we're gonna be going over my updated best Drecko Ranch design. If you guys have seen the best Drecko Ranch video, it's kind of outdated. And since then, we've been through a lot of game updates, building changes, and I think it's finally time that we make a video showcasing the updated design. I've actually been using this for a while, if you guys have been watching me live stream. So let's share this design so you guys know what the changes are and what we're working with. And this is the updated Drecko Ranch. This Drecko Ranch design is going to be 11 by 22 tiles in size, being 11 tiles tall. This lines up to exactly 2 floors. It's recommended to have Atmo suits ready and also avoid oxygen mask as you will always breathe out CO2, so you might throw off the gas balance. The gas balance is actually very important for this design, so I would actually recommend to never use those inside this ranch. That being said, there are 3 rooms inside the ranch, and the middle room being the most important. This room is going to be the stable, and it's the only 2-floor room inside the design. The room is split to 2 floors because of the gas proportions. We're going to be growing food at the bottom so that the critters can eat, and then the top half is going to be hydrogen so that we could have the Drecko scale regrow. The Dreckos are a critter that you could shear for a resource, in which case their scales are going to be what you're looking at. As you can see right here, once they're in hydrogen, you have a percentage of that growing per cycle. That's going to be true for both the regular and glossy Drecko, and there's no other element that actually triggers that effect, so it's important to have hydrogen. The bottom gas being CO2 is because we're choosing mealwood. In my case, I'm trying to increase my amount of glossies, and regular Dreckos lay a glossy egg the more often they eat the mealwood plant. The Dreckos are also a grazing critter, meaning that they can't eat from a feeder. They don't interact with the building and can't eat off of that and must eat from the plants themselves. You're gonna only need 8 farm tiles, regardless of if you do mealwood or bomb lily. The only difference is the gas that's present. Bomb lily is gonna require chlorine, and mealwood is probably gonna want carbon dioxide. Since this is gonna be a breeding room, we have the maximum amount of Dreckos inside allowed at 8 on the drop off, and we're always sweeping out the eggs. These sweepers set up like this could sweep all of the central room so that all the eggs are always removed as soon as possible. We do have a shearing station here in case the Dreckos do regrow their scales, but because of the randomness of their travel, they're never going to be relied on. Now, the most important part about this is the water lock. As you could see, the Dreckos can't go up the sides of the wall or the ceiling. That's because they're afraid of the water. I've found that reducing the critter's travel is the most important part about ranching, since your rancher is going to have to wait for the critter to crawl up to the grooming station. As you could see, the Dreckos are probably part snail because they move very slow, and if they were on the ceiling, they don't drop. They have to crawl all the way around. So the water log is very important to prevent that excessive movement. That being said, that is going to be the middle breeding room. Next, we have the starvation room, shearing room, and refill room. This is technically a starvation room, but we don't actually expect anyone there to starve unless they're unlucky with the trap movement. But we're going to be dropping off all the eggs from here into here. What we do is we control this by having a certain amount that you could select yourselves. I'm selecting 8. So once we have 8 Dreckos, all of the Drecko eggs go to the evolution chamber. The Dreckos in here have 2 purposes. Realistically, shearing for resource is the main purpose, and the second purpose is the critter trap. This critter trap is actually controlled by this automation, and it's only going to arm itself once the population in the breeding room drops. This means that if there's a Drecko that grows too old, we're going to have to add a new Drecko to take its place so that the amount of eggs we get stays consistent. That's going to happen automatically with the critter trap right here. That's tied to this automation sensor that we set to below 8. That way, if it's ever 7 or less, we make sure to top it off. Now, of course, we already alluded to it. This flows into the third room, the evolution chamber. The door is on top of 2 tiles of water. It's a very simple setup. You don't need a full tile, just need 2 different liquids. And this causes full liquid tiles, which the critters will evolve in. And for the most part, that is going to be the upgraded Drecko Ranch design. You guys are probably curious about some of the overlays. That's going to be my power. Automation is very simple. This is this is below 8. And this is also below 8. The only difference is the checkbox right here on eggs and critters and the room that it's in. You can't use that for the same sensor since it's actually 2 different rooms. After that, we have the rail overlay. You just overflow that and you drop it off. This part is a little bit important because this sweeper, you have to be careful. While the chute drops the egg, this could pick up the eggs while it's falling, meaning that you'll loop the egg infinitely and you'll eventually get raw egg, so you have to watch out about that. There are a couple problems that you might run into with this. It's recommended to not add that much water into the water logs, keep it as low as possible, and to not actually add water via bottle emptier. What you actually want to do is use ice temp shift plates. You want to bring this down as close to 10 degrees as you can, as the Dreckos actually spawn close to 65 degrees, meaning that it's going to become a heat source. Until they become glossies, of course, in which case it will be lower, but still above 30 degrees Celsius. So what you're doing is buying time. You're going to want to use ice temp shift plate exactly on this tile. The water is going to spill. Hopefully you get an even distribution where it's half here, half here. But the cold water is only going to be chilling the mealwood. Cooling down the Dreckos don't actually matter. So build the ice temp shift plate here. And don't forget to mop it, as this will immediately flood the shearing station. So let it spill out, mop it, and then it should be buying you some time to keep the glossies coming along. And that's it. That's going to be the updated Drecko Ranch design. If you guys have any questions about this, feel free to ask. I'll be happy to help. But of course, don't forget to like and subscribe, you guys. Hope this build helps you guys out. And thank you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video.